Hello guys. In this homework, we have two problems. Um, in the first one, we have a grade beam 3 feet by 2 feet deep, 3 feet wide, 2 feet deep. So this is your beam, looks like this. The width is 3 feet depth and wide, and the depth is 2 feet. 2 feet. This grade beam, this is a concrete, reinforced concrete beam as a foundation for this building. The perimeter of this building looks like this shape. Can you see? This is the shape. So a grade beam 3 feet wide, 2 feet deep must be poured around the perimeter of the building shown here. So if you would like to figure out the perimeter, we have a building, looks like this shape. Can you figure out the perimeter of this shape? By the way, this length plus this length equal 400 feet. Does that make sense? I think this length plus this length plus this length will be also 400 feet. That makes sense? This length plus this one equal 200 feet. I think this side length will be also 200 feet. So what is the remaining? We still have this little side with 50 and this little side with 50. It will be 100 feet. So don't think that we have missing information or dimensions in this layout. The horizontal side here is 400, 320 plus 80 will be the same like this one plus this one plus this one. Does that make sense? So the total perimeter of this shape, 400 plus 400 plus 200 plus 200 plus 100, it will be 1300. So the perimeter of this shape, the total length, add these lenses together. That's it. Okay? Equal 1300 feet. The trench excavated for the grade beam, this grade beam to be constructed, we need to do excavation with side slope sides, 1-to-1 side slopes. That means I will do excavation here, different color, with side slope 1-to-1, with side slope 1-to-1. So I will excavate this trapezoidal shape. I will do excavation with this green color. Does that make sense? If you are able to figure out the area of this trapezoid and then multiply this area by the perimeter of this building, you can get the volume of soil that needed to be excavated. Does that make sense? So let's focus here. I need to figure out what is the width of the top of the excavation, because the bottom is 3 feet based on the width of the beam, grade beam, based on the grade beam width. So since this side slope is 1-to-1, I mean, if you go up 1, I have to move horizontally 1. So the total depth of this beam is 2 feet. So if you go up 2 feet, I have to go wide or horizontally 2 feet. So this little horizontal distance will be 2 feet. And the same here. If you go up 2, I need to go horizontally 2. So this little horizontal distance will be 2. Beside, we have this 3 feet width. So the total width will be 7 feet. So the area of this trapezoid will equal the top width, which is 7 feet, plus the bottom width, which is 3 feet, divided by 2, times the height between the two widths is 2 feet. That makes sense? This is the cross-section that I need to excavate. This cross-section will go through this parameter. I mean, if you do section here, the cross-section of excavation looks like this one. So if you would like to figure out the volume, we need to multiply area of your cross-section of excavation times the perimeter of the building. So 7 plus 3 divide 2 times 2 equal 10 square feet. If you would like to figure out the total volume of soil, it will be this area, 10 square feet. This is the area of cross-section of excavation, time this area will be go through this parameter of the building, which is 1,300 feet. So the total will be 13,000 cubic feet. If you divide this number 13,000 by 27, I got 481.5 bang cubic yard. I divided it by 27 to convert it from cubic yard to cubic, for cubic feet to cubic yard. And this one will be bang cubic yard because you are using the actual dimension of the grade beam, this grade beam dimensions, and this slope of excavation helped me to figure out the cross-section of the excavation. This is a cross-section of your excavation. I need to excavate this cross-section. That makes sense? If you multiply this cross-section by the perimeter of this building, you can get the total volume, this total volume in cubic feet, divide it by 27 to get the cubic yard. Since the swell factor is given, this is the actual volume of the soil that will be excavated. But the volume in the loose condition will be this volume, 481.5, multiplied by 1 plus the swell factor. Your swell factor is 12%, so it will be 0.12. So if you multiply this number by 1.12, the total volume will be 539.2. This one will be loose cubic yard. So after excavation, the volume of the soil to be trucked or to be transported from the site will be 539.2 loose cubic yard. This is for the first problem. For the second problem, we are going to use grade method to figure out the excavation of this area of land. This area of land is 250 feet times 250 feet. It's a square. I divided it to squares, so small squares. Each is 50 by 50. So each cell here is 50 by 50. Please make sure to pay attention to the original and the final grade. At each corner, I'm giving you two numbers, 80 and 80. 80 is the original elevation. 80 is the intended elevation after excavation. For example, some of these corners will be the same. No need for excavation, no need to fill. But some of them, like this one, we have 85. This is the original elevation. This is the original elevation. I need to excavate this elevation until you reach to 78. That makes sense? So at each corner, we have two numbers. At each corner, we have two numbers. One of them is called the original elevation, and the second one is called the final elevation after excavation. So if you remember this method, we need first to subtract the two elevations. So at this corner, we have 0. We don't have any excavation. We don't have any filling. At this corner, we have 0. At this corner, we have 3 needed to be excavated. At this corner, we have 0. Keep going for each cell. At this one, we have 0. At this one, we have 7. At this one, we have 0. At this one, we have 12, I think. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 7. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 0. And keep going. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 6 to be excavated. This one, we have 12 to be excavated. This one, we have 14 to be excavated. This one, we have 7. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 6. This one, we have 11. This one, we have 11, I think. This one, we have 5. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 4. This one, we have 7. This one, we have 7. This one, we have 4. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 0. This one, we have 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0. So I can figure out the H, the difference between the two elevations, the original elevation and the final elevation after excavation. So I will start to use my Excel. We have around 25 cells. I can label them like this. And I can start clockwise. So I will put for each cell 0, 0, 3, 0. So cell number 2, I will put 0, 0, 7, 3. Cell number 3, I will put 0, 0, 12, 7. 0, 0, 7, 12. 0, 0, 0, 7. For each cell, for the 25 cells. So if you open your Excel, I already prepared them for you. From cell 1 to cell 25, at each cell, I put the 4 heights at each corner of each cell. Does that make sense? So if you look here, for example, this is cell number 25. I will put 4, 0, 0, 0. If you look here for 25, I put 4, 0, 0, 0. Does that make sense? So this method depends on we need to get the volume for each cell. Your volume will equal the average. Average for these numbers, these heights, I need to get the average. This average must be multiplied by 50 by 50, which is the area of each cell. As you know, this distance is 50 feet and this distance is 50 feet. So the area of each cell is 50 by 50. And the number that you will get will be in in cubic feet. If you divide the number by 27, that means the final answer will be in bang cubic yard. I will repeat this calculation for every cell. So by clicking this corner, so I can get the volume that needed to be excavated for each cell. Okay, we can get here the total. To stand here and write equal, we have a function called sum. And I will click or highlight all of them, select all of them, then enter. This is the total volume that needed to be excavated from this area of land. It's very easy. We covered this before in previous video. So this one will be cubic feet. If you would like to get it in, no, I'm sorry, this one in cubic yard, because I divided this each volume for each cell by 27. If you make sum, it will be bang cubic yard.